Are you okay? Yeah.
As I've been making more videos about Gilmore Girls, I've started to notice patterns in other characters too. One that stands out is how often Rory bottles things up until they come out kinda sideways. She doesn't usually say how upset she is while she's becoming upset. She holds it in, tries to move through it, and then the reaction comes out bigger or sharper than the moment calls for.
I don't know, but it really made me mad.
Welcome to another episode of Pexposure. I'm Pecky, and I love to psychoanalyze myself through the characters I watch in film and TV, using my background in psychology and communication. So if you find yourself relating a little too deeply to fictional people, this channel might be for you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes. Psychologically, Rory tends to suppress her emotions until they become harder to regulate. Communication-wise, she often delays expressing what she feels. So when it finally comes out, the reaction speaks for her.
Because sometimes you have something you need to say, but you can't because the words won't come out, or you get scared, or you feel stupid, so...
I think a lot of us don't always realize we're suppressing our emotions. We think we're fine until suddenly we're not. I remember once I was suppressing my stress so much that I ended up getting shingles. So this video is about the kind of person who tries so hard to be fine that they don't realize how upset they are until it comes out in a not so healthy way. One of the first examples that comes to mind is when Rory is late for her test at Chilton.
What the hell is wrong with you that you have this constant need to be the biggest jerk in the entire world?
Okay, let's go.
This is one of the first times we really see Rory lose control emotionally. What makes this moment more layered is everything that builds up before that breakdown. She had gotten a D and she was overwhelmed by how much harder the workload was than she expected. She'd been studying relentlessly to try to catch up. So by the time she gets to school, she's already under a lot of pressure and she'd also barely gotten any sleep. While she's trying to advocate for herself, explain why she's late, and basically beg to take the test, she hears Paris go,
Kind of inky.
Freezer.
That's the tipping point. The frustration of feeling like she's failing after working so hard. The humiliation of being dismissed in front of her peers, and the pressure of trying to explain herself while being interrupted and belittled. And it becomes a domino effect.
And for the last time, the name is Rory!
Rory had been letting things pile up without addressing them, so when she finally reacts, it all comes out at once. Most of the time, when someone finally loses it, it's not just because of one thing. It's because one thing landed on top of everything else. And I think a lot of people have had a version of this. A moment where you think you're handling everything, and then one comment or one person pushing you at the wrong time makes you react in a way that even surprises you. Another example of this is Rory's birthday party.
This is your party, and these are your guests, and I don't have anything to say to them, so you give the speech.
Rory?
Excuse me.
Emily invites Rory's Chilton classmates without asking her, and Rory is clearly uncomfortable with it, but she doesn't want to tell Lorelai. Rory can see there's finally some peace between Lorelai and Emily, and the family dynamic feels a little less tense than usual. So Rory swallows her discomfort because she doesn't want to be the reason that peace gets ruined. But the problem is she's still upset. She still feels like Emily made a decision about her social life without actually considering what she wanted. And because Rory doesn't say anything, it keeps building. By the time she yells at Emily at the party, it's coming from the pressure of pretending she was okay with something she wasn't okay with.
I mean, it's not very often that there's peace between you two. I didn't want to screw everything up.
Sometimes we put other people's emotions so far ahead of our own that we convince ourselves staying quiet is the more considerate thing to do. But when something is hurting you, avoiding the conversation doesn't always protect the relationship. Sometimes it just delays the conflict until it comes out in a way that's harder to control.
And I've got exact change for you.
Super.
Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Shane, Jess's girlfriend in season 3.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks, you too. And by the way, bloaty is not a word.
Thanks, it's fascinating.
Well, for you, how ice is made is probably fascinating. See ya.
On the surface, it looks like Rory is just being mean to a girl Jess is dating. As the audience, however, we know Rory is dealing with feelings she doesn't want to admit. She's jealous because she likes Jess, but she's still with Dean. And because she doesn't want to face those feelings directly, they get redirected onto Shane. What's interesting to me is that Rory doesn't really talk about her feelings for Jess with anyone, not even Lane. And Rory is with Lane all the time. Lane is her best friend. This is exactly the kind of thing you would think she'd confess to her, but she doesn't, and I think part of it is because she feels shame. Rory is still with Dean, and I think she thinks everyone prefers Dean over Jess, and by everyone I mean Lorelai specifically, because Lorelai hates Jess. So admitting that she has feelings for Jess would also mean admitting something about herself that she doesn't want to face yet. Instead of saying it out loud, she holds it in, and it comes out through jealousy, judgment, and the way she treats Shane. And that's what shame can do. It can make an honest conversation feel too uncomfortable, so the emotion comes out somewhere else.
Girls like Shane, what is it with them? Don't they see what they look like? I know they have mirrors.
Rory is reacting to what Shane represents. The fact that Jess is available to someone else, and Rory can't admit how much that bothers her. Now let's talk about when Rory steals the yacht and when she decides to drop out of Yale.
You know the beginning of Moby Dick? When he finds himself growing grim about the mouth and wanting to knock people's hats off, he takes to the sea. Well, I feel like knocking people's hats off.
This is probably the most dramatic version of Rory not knowing what to do with the feeling once it hits her.
No one has made this dramatic of a change yet.
When Mitchum tells Rory that he doesn't think she has what it takes to be a journalist, it completely shakes her. Regardless of whether he's right or wrong, his criticism hits her at her most vulnerable point. Rory has spent her life being praised for her potential. Her future has always felt guaranteed. So when someone powerful says,
"You don't got it,"
it feels like the collapse of her identity. Maybe part of why it hit so hard is because some part of Rory was already afraid of that. Maybe Mitchum's feedback hurts because it gives a voice to something Rory hasn't wanted to fully look at yet. The possibility that journalism may not feel as natural or certain as she thought it would. I don't want to go too far into the weeds with that because this isn't really about whether Mitchum was right or what Rory actually wants to do with her life, but I do think the intensity of Rory's reaction suggests that his criticism touched something deeper than just one bad internship review. Instead of sitting with that hurt or talking it through, Rory makes a huge decision from that emotional wound. First, she steals the yacht, and then she drops out of Yale.
I want time off.
I don't think taking a break is always a bad thing. Sometimes breaks are necessary and stepping back can be healthy, especially if you're burned out or need time to figure out what you actually want. But there's a difference between taking a break because you've reflected on what you need and taking a break because you're trying to escape a feeling you don't know how to process. And with Rory, this feels more like the second one. This is where her emotional suppression becomes more serious. It doesn't always come out as a sharp reaction. It can sometimes come out as a major life decision. Sometimes a comment hurts so much because it confirms something you were already scared might be true. Maybe it's about your career, your talent, relationship. When that fear gets touched, it can feel unbearable to just sit with it. So instead of acknowledging it, you try to escape the feeling by changing the circumstances around it. And I think that's what Rory does here.
So what happens now? I get another Birkin bag? And how long until he doesn't love me again? I stole a boat with him. I never stole a boat with Dean.
Underneath the comedy, I do think this scene says something real about Rory. Rory goes into this meeting and suddenly everything pours out. I mean, she even brings up Dean.
Who's Dean?
God, Lindsay!
When she finally sits in front of someone whose whole job is to ask how she's doing, everything comes up. And that's what happens when you're used to being the person who's always fine and always okay. Sometimes you can keep it together in front of everyone who expects you to be fine, but then one person asks the right question in the right room and suddenly the version of you that's been holding it together can't do it anymore. I think it shows us that Rory has a lot more emotion under the surface than she usually lets people see.
After my little meltdown, Dr. Shapiro thinks I should come see him once a week for the next 2 months.
I'm so sorry.
Rory, you're a nut.
If my daughter called me and said the therapist thought she should come in more regularly because of how strongly she reacted, I would probably be a little concerned. But Lorelai kind of just brushes it off. And to be fair, this is Gilmore Girls. They're not gonna pause the show and do a deep emotional analysis of Rory's nervous system. I mean, that's what Pexposure is for.
Remember, blame it all on Grandma.
Rory isn't someone who doesn't feel things. If anything, I think she feels things more deeply than she lets on. But because she's so used to being the one who can handle things, she doesn't always give herself room to be upset while she's actually becoming upset. And the emotion has to find another way out. Sometimes it comes out as a meltdown, as jealousy, or as a life decision that needed more time before it became a decision. A lot of us tell ourselves we're fine, we try to be considerate, stay composed, and not make a big deal out of it, but the feeling doesn't disappear just because we don't say it out loud. It waits, and eventually it comes out somewhere. When you bottle up your emotions like Rory Gilmore, the question isn't really whether the feeling will come out, it's how it will come out. So I want to know what you think. Do you think Rory bottles things up more than people realize? And let me know in the comments if there's another example that shows this pattern. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Bye!